Real Life Radio listeners. This is Jennifer Longworth with your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380 and 94.9 FM. Talking today with Cindy Warr of Refuge for Women. Welcome to the program, Cindy.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Always good to have new guests in. This is your first time on Real Life Radio.
Yes.
So our listeners probably aren't very familiar with Refuge for Women. So tell us about it.
Okay. Well, the Refuge for Women is a faith-based, long-term residential healing program for women who want to get out of the sex industry. Sex industry, traffic victims, escorting, prostitution, pornography, stripping. Any woman that's been sexually exploited in any of those industries can come and find healing at our long-term 1-year program.
1 year.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an Avon lady back in the day, I actually had a lot of clients who are in that industry and saw that along with that, a lot of other, that you see drugs, you see families falling apart, you see money issues. It's not just the one problem. It just spreads out in so many other areas of our lives. I'm sure you guys see all that type of stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, the women come to us. The majority of the women that we've served, almost all of them have been abused when they were children, physically, sexually abused. A lot of addictions come with the industry. Unfortunately, it's just a really dark industry.
Yeah. So how do the women find you?
Well, the women find us usually it's by the frontline ministries. For instance, there's a ministry in Lexington, and they go into some of the strip clubs and feed the women a wonderful hot home-cooked meal once a week. They're known as the church ladies. And there's other ministries that go walk where we know prostitution is going on with little goodie bags and just love on the women and pour into them and are just there if they were to want to get out or want a new beginning or want any kind of help, any kind of resources. They have a lot of different available resources to the women, one of which would be us as a next step. If they do want to get off the street or out of the strip clubs, or we've served many women that have been trafficked, and they just need a safe place to heal, to just really be healed by what they've been through, the trauma and the kind of lifestyle that they had been living. So the first step is those ministries that are on the front line, the rescue ministries.
And they're out there just developing relationships then?
They are, yes. Yeah, they're a constant in the women's life. You know, whether it's every Friday night, you know, this ministry goes out and loves on the women and talks to them. You begin to just build a rapport with the woman and a trust factor. And so they open up and say, you know, I need, you know, if I could get out of here, I would, or if I could start over again, I would, but I just don't have any hope. I feel trapped.
Right.
So,
and there's lots of things that can trap them, just from being knowing that industry from that side for the brief period of time I did. It opened up a whole new perspective on things. So once the women come to you, how do you guys help them?
Well, it's the woman who wants to come into the program would fill out an application, a very long application, telling us about her past, what's going on, what she's hoping to get out of the program. And then she would come into the program. We would do intake with her, and there's lots of rules. We have a lot of rules that are set up to help the woman in her healing and just set boundaries and things like that so that she can be in a safe place to really get the full effect of the 3-phase healing program. Really, that's just, if she's been in the sex industry, if she's been sexually exploited, if she wants out, if she wants healing, if she wants a new beginning, she wants to get off drugs and alcohol and get sober and get help in that aspect. We are a certified recovery dynamic program, so we're able to help with that. That's part of the program. And almost every one of them have been addicted to something,
right.
You know, drugs or alcohol or both. So that's how they come in to the program. So
what are the 3 phrases you've mentioned?
The 3 phases that the women will go through is, the first one is called inner heart healing. And that's needed at the beginning because usually when they come to us, they're pretty broken and hopeless. Pretty much a mess and really don't have much hope or think very highly of themselves, low self-esteem, low self-worth, and just have really been abused in that industry. And so the first phase is all about healing. And obviously the Bible is our guide in the healing. Jesus is the healer. And so the first level is set up with very customized programs that help with trauma and abuse. They help with setting godly boundaries, Battlefield of the Mind, Redeeming Love, which is an amazing book about how God redeems our past no matter how ugly. So they're going to focus on Celebrate Recovery and things like that. So it's very much geared towards inner heart health healing. And so that's about 4 months. And once that part of the program is done, usually the woman is a new woman. Usually by 4 months, she's given her life to Christ. She's rededicated her life. She's right with that, and she's right with the Lord. And there's a trust factor now that I can do this. I have a new beginning. I am a new creation. And so phase 2 is all about jobs for life. It's all about readiness, preparing them to go back out into the world in a God-honoring, position. And so what are her hopes? What are her dreams? What did she always want to be when she was a little girl? So we want to work with them and help them with interview prep, mock interviews, resume preparation, help them find jobs, how to apply online, just going through all of it with them, driving them to interviews. So that's phase 2. And then phase 3 is a phase where they're actually working and they're paying a little bit of rent towards the utilities. And so they're starting to re-enter the world. But it's that last little hump of, I'm not all by myself. I still have a covering, a safe covering, and some accountability. But I'm working and I'm doing it. I'm ready. I'm saving my money. They go through financial peace and learn how to budget and things like that. So, I'm ready. I'm just about ready to go back out in the world. So that's phase 3.
Now, do all 3 phases at the same location?
No, we actually very soon we'll have our another house opening north of Lexington. And so once we have that, we'll have 3 locations. So phase 1 will be held at one, phase 2 at another location, and phase 3 is a location in Lexington that's closer to working and more conducive to them working and, on a bus line or just a lot of better opportunities close by. So they will actually rotate to the different phase houses.
About how many women do you have in the program at a time?
Well, we will be able to have 8 at each house, which will be awesome. And we have been full, and usually full with a waiting list for a couple of years now. Wow. So definitely need this second house open as soon as possible. So we're just about done renovating. So,
how long has Refuge for Women been around?
4 years this month. Okay. We opened the doors to our first residential home 4 years ago, July 17th.
Well, congratulations. Happy birthday early.
Thank you. So, 4 years we've been in ministry. And before that, it was maybe a few years that Ked and Michelle Frank, they're our founders and executive directors, just really felt called to be a safe place, a safe residential healing home, to provide that for the women that want to get out and want healing and need a new beginning and just don't, going to a safe place, Salvation Army, whatever, a safe place temporarily, it's like Band-Aid. Yeah. And so what's really was in our hearts, and Michelle and Ked, is how can we provide a long-term, how can we roll up our sleeves and do life with them and help them, walk it out with them, not to enable them, but to walk it out with them and show them and give them the tools they need to start again.
Right. Because if you just stick a Band-Aid on, okay, we've taken care of it, they're going to quickly end up back in that.
Yeah, typically they will go back. They'll go. Whether it's good or not, whether it's abusive or not, it is a comfort zone for them. That's all they've known, most of their lives, that kind of abuse and that kind of atmosphere. So why not just go back? So they need to see and live in a safe environment. And in the homes, they learn how to cook, how to clean. They're living in fellowship together. They're healing in fellowship together. So it's a family environment, which is, most of them have never had a healthy family environment. So it's really awesome. They love it.
What kind of age are you seeing? Younger, older, in between, everybody?
The majority of the women we serve are in their mid-20s. We serve as early as young as 18. They have to be 18 to come in the program. And then our oldest was in her early 50s. Oh. So, but I would say the majority are mid-20s.
Okay. And I'm sure you learned their stories. How long have they been in the industry? From when they're pretty young, right?
Yes, it just depends on their background. I mean, some of the traffic victims were trafficked from a very early age on in their childhood. And so that's all they've known. And they're a lot harder. Their journey is going to be a little longer, the healing journey, because it's just a lot more intense, what's been done to them. And But a lot of the women in the prostitution, pornography, stripping, that comes in their teens. You can, and then so by mid-20s, they've been doing this kind of lifestyle every day for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and it's just destructive. They're worn very weak. They're abused. They're they're in need of some love. Tender love and care, and that's what they get at the Refuge.
Yeah, that's probably one of your biggest roles is the just TLC.
Absolutely.
So Cindy, you've seen a lot of girls come through. About how many women have come through your program?
Well, in the 4 years, we've served 61 women in the program, and really of course, we'd love all 61 to be healthy, healed, and whole. But we really are happy with the results so far. 93% of the women we've served have not gone back to the sex industry.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Which is huge. And almost 70% are clean and sober. So that's another issue that we really want to help them with, is to achieve their sobriety. And then same amount, about 70% are employed or stay-at-home moms or in college. So that's very good.
Yeah.
And then about 75% have been baptized in the program.
Amen.
Right. So that's the number one thing.
That's the important thing.
Finding their healer.
Yes, absolutely. So do you hear from the women who come from your program? Do they check back in and let you know how they're doing?
We do, which it's actually pretty amazing. Only about 10% of the women we've served, we've lost contact with. They've, gone back out in the industry, or we've just lost contact. They, just have gone a different way. But really, we have an aftercare program. And so we tell them when they come into the ministry, this is a till death do we part relationship. Like, we're here for you until you tell us you don't want us to be here for you anymore. And even if they walk away and give up, we're still here, and we still get phone calls, and we still, prayer requests. Hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm living in such and such city. Like, we are a resource to them to help them find whatever they need wherever they are, So we're here. And each woman gets a mentor when she comes in the program, and that mentor also is going to do life with her and walk it out with her, the journey. Till death do you part, unless you say, leave me alone. Right. So we are in relationship with a lot of the women that have graduated the program, and they stay close to us. We're in touch with them on a regular weekly basis. We know how to pray for them. We can help with anything that they need, a lot of resources.
Do they come back and help with the other girls who are in the program?
Some are called to do that. Some are definitely called to come and give back and it's really beautiful when that happens. It's really a neat thing. It's really healing for them as well. And it's awesome for the women that have just started the program to see a graduate, that's sharing that. Yes, I can do this. I can totally do this. So yes. Yeah. Well,
I'm talking with Cindy Warr of Refuge for Women. And before we go to the break, what is your website?
Website is www.refugeforwomen.org.
And when we come back, we'll talk about how people can get involved and help out Refuge for Women on your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380 and 94.9 FM WMJR, Nicholasville, Lexington.